Welcome to Module 4. Topic: California liquor laws. Information to be covered in this module. Number 1, who the ABC is. Number 2, TRACE, the Target Responsibility for Alcohol Connected Emergencies Program. Number 3, license types and the rules for them. California is a large state with thousands upon thousands of licensed establishments that serve and/or sell liquor. In order for the alcoholic beverages to be served and sold safely, laws are in place to make sure that the community is safe, and the laws are there to protect the consumer, the general public, the employees, and the establishment. The ABC is a regulatory agency as well as a law enforcement agency. Alcohol-related laws are enforced by state and local law enforcement agencies. Here's what the ABC website states. The mission of the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control is to provide the highest level of service and public safety to the people of the state through licensing, education, and enforcement. Our values: trust. We serve the public and one another with fairness and integrity. Innovation. We embrace emerging change for continuous improvement. Professionalism. We are ethical and respectful in all that we do. Our vision: protect California communities through excellence in alcohol regulation and education. Organization of the ABC. The department's workload is divided into 3 elements: administration, licensing, and compliance. The department's headquarters in Sacramento consists of the director's office and other offices performing licensing, physical management, legal, trade practices, training, and personnel/labor relations and other administrative support functions for the department. Agents and/or licensing representatives investigate applications for licenses to sell alcoholic beverages and report on the moral character and fitness of applicants and the suitability of premises where sales are to be conducted. Less complex license applications are reviewed and processed by non-sworn licensing representatives. These reports are reviewed at the district office and are forwarded to headquarters in Sacramento for further review and processing. If a license is denied, or if its issuance is protested, the applicant is entitled to a hearing before an administrative law judge. After hearing the evidence, the administrative law judge makes a proposed decision, which is reviewed by the legal section of the department and acted upon by the director. The ABC regulates alcoholic beverages. ABC agents are peace officers under Section 830.2 of the California Penal Code and are empowered to investigate and make arrests for violations of the Business and Professions Code that occur on or about licensed premises. Agents are further empowered to enforce any penal provisions of the law at any place in the state. All state law enforcement officers are required to enforce alcohol laws, and local law enforcement officers are required to send the department all arrest reports and calls for service at ABC licensed locations. The definition of a sworn peace officer in California is this: California Codes 830-832.17, any person who comes within the provisions of this chapter and who otherwise meets all standards imposed by law on a peace officer is a peace officer, and notwithstanding any other provision of law, no person other than those designated in this chapter is a peace officer. Any sworn peace officer, either from the ABC or local enforcement agency, has the right to inspect the premises. They can be in uniform or plainclothes. They have the right to visit and inspect any licensed premises at any time during business hours. The right to inspect is not dependent on probable cause or obtaining a warrant. The right to inspect extends to the bar, back bar, storeroom, office, closed or locked cabinets, safes, kitchen, or any other area within the licensed premises. If the peace officer is interfered with in any way, it is grounds for arrest and license revocation. The ABC agent's right to inspect also exceeds to licensee records that are required to be kept under the Business and Professions Code, Division 9. As we stated earlier, the ABC works with all law enforcement agencies to help keep our communities safe. An excellent example of this is the TRACE program. TRACE stands for Target Responsibility for Alcohol Connected Emergencies. The TRACE program came about when a young college woman was killed in a head-on crash by an 18-year-old drunk driver. The young woman's mother asked the question, where did the 18-year-old get the alcohol? The questions the mother asked eventually brought together ABC with the Attorney General's Office, California Highway Patrol, MAD, FNL, and many other agencies and stakeholder groups. ABC had a distinct role to play with TRACE. Of course, there was the obvious access to licensed premises and a high level of expertise, but there was also a dedicated core of ABC investigators who were extremely motivated in taking up the assignment. Trace facts. The Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, ABC, should be notified immediately of any death or serious injury involving underage drinking. Trace is a protocol wherein first responders to alcohol-related emergencies immediately notify ABC when an incident involves a person under 21 and an alcoholic beverage that results in great bodily injury or death. ABC agents will conduct a simultaneous investigation to determine whether alcoholic beverages were acquired, purchased, or served. Agents will be alert to the collection of evidence which may then indicate where the alcoholic beverage was obtained. Such evidence can include false identification, receipts, bags, labels, and statements of witnesses. A timely notification to the Trace unit greatly improves the chance of a successful investigation. If the Trace investigation determines that an ABC licensed location sold or furnished alcoholic beverages to a minor, the department will file administrative action to suspend or revoke the license of that business. The Trace protocol was developed by the Department of Alcoholic Beverage Control, Office of Traffic Safety, California Attorney General's Office, California Highway Patrol, California Police Chiefs Association, and California State Sheriff's Association. The definition of and penalties for infractions in California are: an infraction is a public offense, but arguably not a crime and is not punishable by imprisonment. Any person convicted of an infraction may only be punished by a fine. California misdemeanors fall into two basic categories. 1. Standard California misdemeanors, punishable by up to 6 months in jail and or a fine of up to $1,000. And number 2, gross or aggravated misdemeanors, punishable by up to 364 days in jail and or a fine of up to $1,000 or more. In California, a felony is a crime that carries a maximum sentence of not more than 1 year in jail or prison. The most serious California felonies can even be punished by death. People convicted of a felony in California may also be fined up to $10,000 in addition to, or instead of, imprisonment. There are different types of liquor licenses in California, and each of them have rules and regulations that the establishment and its employees must abide by. The laws that pertain to establishments that have on-sale privileges are what follows. The ABC decides penalties on a case-by-case basis. In fact, if any of the laws we are discussing are infracted, can result in a monetary fine, revocation, or suspension of a liquor license, as well as jail time for the individual employee. Now, let's discuss some of the on-sale liquor license establishments and the rules that apply to them. If your establishment is a number 40 license, which is an on-sale beer, bar, tavern, authorized to sell beer for consumption on or off the premises where sold, no wine or distilled spirits may be on the premises. Full meals are not required. However, sandwiches or snacks must be available. Minors are allowed on the premises. License number 41, on-sale beer and wine eating place. This license authorizes the sale of beer and wine for consumption on or off the premises where sold. Distilled spirits may not be on the premises except brandy, rum, or liquors for using solely for cooking purposes. Must operate and maintain the licensed premises as a bona fide eating place, must maintain suitable kitchen facilities, and must make actual and substantial sales of meals for consumption on the premises. Minors are allowed on the premises. License number 42, on-sale beer and wine public premises. Authorizes the sale of beer and wine for consumption on or off the premises where sold. No distilled spirits may be on the premises. Minors are not allowed to enter. Food service is not required. Number 47, on-sale general eating place, a restaurant. Authorizes the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits for consumption on the licensed premises. Authorizes the sale of beer and wine for consumption off the licensed premises. Must operate and maintain the licensed premises as a bona fide eating place. Must maintain suitable kitchen facilities and must make actual and substantial sales of meals for consumption on the premises. Minors are allowed on the premises. Number 48, on-sale general public premises. Bar nightclub. Authorizes the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits for consumption on the premises where sold. Authorizes the sale of beer and wine for consumption off the premises where sold. Minors are not allowed to enter and remain. Food service is not required. Senate Bill 1193 requires specified businesses, including on-sale general public premises licenses, Type 48, and other establishments as of April 1, 2013, to post a notice informing the public and victims of human trafficking of telephone hotline numbers to help seek or report unlawful activity. There are specific posting mandates, language requirements, and penalties for failure to post. Each mandated business is required to post a notice in English and Spanish. In addition, for businesses located in specific counties, a third language posting is required. Where must the public notice be posted? Civil Code 52.6 requires that a specified business or other establishment must post the notice in a conspicuous place near the public entrance of the establishment or in another conspicuous location in clear view of the public and employees where similar notices are customarily posted. Liability and penalty for failing to post the public notice. Civil Code 52.6 creates civil liability for a business or establishment that fails to comply with the posting requirement. The penalty for violating this law is $500 for a first offense and $1,000 for each subsequent offense. Number 51, club license. Authorizes the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits to members and guests only for consumption on the premises where sold. No off-sale privileges. Food service is not required. Minors are allowed on the premises. Number 52, a Veterans Club. Authorizes the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits to members and guests only for consumption on the premises where sold. Food service is not required. Minors are allowed on the premises. Number 61, on-sale beer, public premises. Bar tavern. Authorizes the sale of beer only for consumption on or off the licensed premises. Wine or distilled spirits may not be on the premises. Minors are not allowed to enter and remain. Warning signs required. Food service is not required. Number 75, a brew pub restaurant. Authorizes the sale of beer, wine, and distilled spirits for consumption on a bona fide eating place plus a limited amount of brewing of beer. This license does not authorize the sale of alcoholic beverages for consumption off the premises or sold. Minors are allowed on the premises.